Night Rants on. Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. What is going on, everybody? Somebody has a case of the Monday. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And well, Bob's your own. Rants on the Street with Thomas Stevens. Shout out to my producer, Tyler Soto. Boom. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Thursday Night Rants, I guess. No, welcome to the special Monday Night Rants Raiders episode.
Hell yeah.
That's right. Myself and Heavy T and a special guest, a longtime Raiders fan, will be joining us as well as we talk about the demise, the ineptitude of the Las Vegas, Oakland, Los Angeles Raiders. Now, I did this about 6 years ago when I first started this show, the first time, and it was a hoot. So we're doing it again. Heavy T, if you haven't read the article, he'll be joining me shortly. It is on MondayNightRants.com. Check it out. It is going to be, and I mean, loads of fun for everybody tonight. But it's based on that article. Now, he's done his Inept Franchise Series now for a few weeks. I think it's like 6 or 7. But the Raiders one was so good, so freaking good, we decided we are going to make it a show. That's right. We are going to make it a show. Because why are the Raiders like a possum? They play dead at home and get killed on the road. But before we get into it, bring Heavy T on. By the way, we're also going to have our predictions for the NBA Finals and the NHL Stanley Cup as well tonight. And a quick little rant lines I'm going to do for you, and we'll get right into it. So without further ado, let's jump into tonight's rant lines. They're going to be quick, I promise, people. And I'll bring Heavy T in as we talk about these two, and we'll figure out. By the way, sorry for the technical difficulties. Restream decided, that's where we stream from, that they wanted to change everything on me. So I'm still trying to adapt to the new system. But we will see how it goes going forward. Currently, the game right now, the finals, is here. And yes, it is the Celtics and the Mavericks. Now, I am on a roll here recently, as I, in our preseason shows for both NBA and NHL, we'll get to that in a little bit, have picked a champion that is still in it. I have picked the Boston Celtics to win the NBA Finals. The game is starting right now. And I'm still going with the Boston Celtics to win the NBA Finals. I'm sticking with my guns because they still in it. And I'm going to predict that this game, or this series, will go in 6. Celtics in 6, baby. Put it on the board. That's what I'm saying. Celtics in 6. Because I'm on fire with my picks, baby. Let's go. Currently, it's 37-20 in the second quarter. Celtics looking damn good. Damn good. When Heavy T comes back in, we will talk to him about which teams he likes in this. I have a feeling he's going to go opposite of me because that's what he normally does. But however, I think it's a good finals. A lot of great stories. You got obviously superstars in Luka and Tatum. You have Kyrie, who once played for Boston. You have Porzingis, who once played for the Mavs, who's healthy. So I think it's going to be a captivating series. It's going to be a good series, but I'm still saying Boston in 6. Let's bring on Heavy T and see what he thinks here. Let's see what Heavy T thinks. Heavy T, I said Boston in 6. I think you're on mute, buddy.
I am on mute. Yeah, so probably help if I hit that button.
Yeah, are you excited for your Raiders stuff?
I actually am. I even brought out one of the actually might be the only LA shirt I own, just because they played in Los Angeles for a long time. And notice it is also black. So yeah, kind of fitting for tonight.
Fair. Okay, who do you got in the NBA Finals?
NBA Finals, I know Dallas is getting their ass kicked right now, but I'm going to take Dallas in 6. I would prefer
the complete opposite of me.
I would prefer Dallas in 7 because I think Kyrie winning in Boston would be hilarious because F the Celtics. But yeah, I think Dallas in 6.
Well, I'm sticking with my guns because I said the Celtics and our preseason show all the way back in November. Can you believe it's been, or October? Jesus, can you believe it's been that long?
It's been a while, man.
Gracious.
It's been a minute.
But I'm sticking with my guns. So, all right, there it is. There's Heavy T. I'm going to send you out for a second, and then we'll talk Stanley Cup, all right? All right, so we got another big final going on. I love this time of year, by the way. The Cup. That's right. The Edmonton Oilers, who, once again, your boy, right here, Edward Charles Raus II, also a reverend, by the way. I can marry you. The Reverend Edward Charles Raus II picked the Oilers to win the whole thing. So I'm sticking to it. I'm saying the Oilers win, but not saying 6. I am saying 7. Another captivating series. The Panthers were in the Stanley Cup last year where they lost to Las Vegas. They got a great team, play very defensively. However, the Oilers just keep on putting shots on goal. A little too much, I think. I think we're seeing the Panthers be the Buffalo Bills of the NHL during this time. Heavy T?
Again, the complete opposite. I have Florida at 6. I think Edmonton's a little too flashy. I think Florida's more physical and can shut them down. So I'm gonna take Florida in 6.
All right, should we do some friendly bets here?
No, because I don't want any more pickle-related items. So I think I'm okay.
Okay, I think we can do something else besides pickle-related items. I think we can find another. I don't know. We'll figure it out before next week. No, or because our show's on Monday, right?
Yeah, which is already in 3 days or something like that.
Yeah, so we could figure it out. And no takebacks. No takebacks.
Yeah. That's
on Monday night, we'll discuss the proper. Okay, one more story, and then we're going to the Raiders. Okay. All right. I was just going to talk about those two, but something else came up today that I want to talk about, and that is, Hurley, really? The Lakers have flown in Dan Hurley from UConn University of Connecticut in talks to be their next head coach. Now, for a while, a good month, JJ Redick was seen to be the favorite, which I think would be a little weird. Really weird, to be honest. But I like JJ Redick when he played for the Clippers. And I think he's a good, smart basketball player. But Hurley seems like, hey, we need to win, and we're going to throw money at the best coach currently in college by a mile. His player development is unmatched in college. It really is. What he gets his players to do to win back-to-back national championships is insane. His ethic, the way he is on and off the court, getting in fights with fans, his emotions. It's a good fit for the NBA, really. But we haven't really seen these coaches come out of college really be great. Billy Donovan really hasn't done much since he got brought up after the Florida Gators, who were the last team to win back-to-back championships. So an interesting matcher. He may even become the highest paid NBA coach in the NBA, maybe ever, if the Lakers pull this off. He did meet with his team, the Huskies, to tell them that he did indeed meet with the Lakers, and who knows? But what does this mean for LeBron? What does this mean for AD? The aging veterans that they have on the team. Let's ask Heavy T. I don't mean to rhyme all the way, but all the time, by the way. I really don't. I really don't.
It just be like that sometimes, man. That's all it is.
What do you think here? What do you think here?
I think I don't. Something about bringing in college coaches. I don't know. It doesn't always work.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it really doesn't. However, if they're bringing in Hurley, I think that means LeBron is absolutely gone. Like, there's no way he's staying.
Really?
You know, yeah.
And where does LeBron go?
Whoever drafts Bronny, because that team would be incredibly stupid to do. I heard rumor that like some team that whoever drafted number 1 overall might consider taking Bronny number 1 overall because that means LeBron's coming too. Absolute garbage. You do that, you're an idiot. You're basically burning.
It's the dumbest thing. That's the dumbest.
You're burning your first round pick for 1 year of LeBron. That's not going to get you anything.
A 1 year, 40-year-old LeBron?
Yeah, for 1 year rental. Like, what are we doing here?
And a 40-year-old LeBron.
Yeah, so don't do
literally
that.
wore down at the end of the season.
Yeah, don't do that. But I think it would mean that LeBron is gone. It'd be interesting to see what they do with AD. I think they would probably lean full rebuild. They might dump AD too, which, I mean, that's fine. Yeah, he's still young. He's still good. Get whatever you can for him. See how it works out. But I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'd be fine with it.
Okay. I think he's a great college coach. And there's a reason why the greats in basketball, like Coach K, for example, that they stay in basketball for so long. Bruce Pearl's another one that constantly solid, constantly make the, we won't talk about Calipari right now, but that constantly make the NCAA tournament, and they're constantly in Final Fours and constantly winning because they're just better at that part of the game or that version of the game than the NBA. The NBA is a different strategy, right? You got the NBA players who are the best of the best. We've seen egos, dealing with the egos. It's a lot easier to deal with an 18-year-old kid who hasn't developed that ego yet than dealing with the egos of the NBA. The game is way different, right? The speed of the game. Having to actually coach defense in the NBA compared to college is different. And that's why a lot of these college coaches, I think they go into the NBA and they fail. Do you agree? Like, the game is so different
it's
from college.
100% different. I think the NBA is a little bit slower than the college game, really, because in college you can have these dudes run a full court press the entire game. You can't do that in the NBA.
No way.
You'll get your dudes winded by the end of the first quarter.
You're gonna be winded, and they're gonna be slam dunking all over the top of you.
Nobody's gonna do that. No, it's really hard. It's one of the reasons, honestly, why if you go back and look at it, it's one of the reasons why Pitino failed in Boston. Dude. He basically wanted to bring the coaching style to Boston. It just did not work.
And what did he do? Went right back to college and succeeded.
Yeah, immediately went right. Yeah, exactly. Went back to college, succeeded. And I know you said like, oh, let's not bring up Calipari. Calipari's consistently in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean he's consistently in the tournament, but he's also consistently taking 2 seeds and losing in the first or second.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, he's consistently like a 1 and 2 and done in the tournament, but
yeah.
I mean, still gets there.
Where is he at? Is he at Arkansas now?
Yeah, I think it's at Arkansas. That was a random signing, I guess. When I heard
they were gonna let him go. He just went.
Kentucky was done with him.
Yeah, they were done with him. They just to start over. So you have it. I think Dan Hurley, and I'm going to say this before we move on to the Raiders portion of the next 40 minutes, but I think it's a desperate move for the Los Angeles Lakers.
I wouldn't say desperate. I think desperate would be, let's ask LeBron who he wants and bring him in so he stays. That's desperate. Mm-hmm. That was like when, I mean, that kind of reeked of like Darvin Ham, Frank Vogel, like those dudes. I mean, that's. And plus, LeBron wants this guy.
It's crazy how in the NBA, it's crazy that in the NBA, like in this world we live in now in the NBA, that these coaches just get passed around all the teams. Like,
yeah, dude, they're basically passed around like the entire Kardashian.
Like, look at Brown. Look at Brown for the Kings, right? Ty Lue. Like, Doc Rivers. I mean, Doc Rivers will probably get knocked out of the first round of the NBA playoffs for another team next year.
I mean, look at who Phoenix just fired. Vogel's been around for a minute.
Oh my God, dude, it's crazy. It's just rotating.
What are the finals?
Heads.
Even Jason Kidd's been there for a while.
It's rotating heads, and that's another issue that Dan Hurley is going to have to face, because in the NBA, it's a player-driven league. In college, it's the coaching that matters, and that's a huge step up for that Dan Hurley will have to learn quickly. That is a player-driven league, and the coaching may not matter as much as it does in college. Because
that's why
really does.
That's why I think if they hire him, LeBron and AD are both gone, because
That'd
you
be
can't
great.
have those old veterans in there with the player-driven mentality and then bring in a coach from college who's not used to that. It's not going to work.
They don't have a good draft pick, the Lakers.
I don't even know what number they're
if they lose those two players, then they're stuck with they're going back to the bottom. Like literally, they're going to.
Oh yeah, no. If those two dudes,
Spurs.
Yeah, if those two dudes are gone, they're going back to the bottom for a little bit. I will say, isn't LeBron? He might be a free agent. I have to double check that.
I think he is.
Yeah, but AD is not. You could trade him, and
they gave him money last year.
Yeah,
remember?
You could still get first-round picks for him. I mean, the only way you keep him there is that you have to make sure this dude buys into the mentality. So 100%. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, but it's going to be Hurley or it's going to be Redick. We'll see what happens.
Okay, fair enough. Well, without further ado, shall we go into the Raiders portion of the evening?
Yeah, hopefully they don't go through as many coaches as the Raiders have. My God in heaven.
I wish I had a just way of really presenting this other than us talking, but it's going to be, or even a cool intro to this, but we're going to go right into it. This is the Raiders.
Mean, if you want, you could play the ending song on Curb Your Enthusiasm underneath this whole thing.
Yeah,
this is what it is. Such a great song.
By the way, rest in peace to a great show. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just to show the people out here what this looks like. And by the way, again, Restream has changed everything on us, and we're trying to live through it here. But here is your article. It's been a great hit on the website, and now officially the #1 viewed article on MondayNightRants.com.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It overtook the Bears, baby. You did it. Congratulations.
Wow. Okay. Thank you, people, who are reading that. Thank you.
Yeah. Overtook the Bears. And you're getting hundreds of people here. Hundreds of people.
I'm fine with hundreds. We're still small. I'm fine with hundreds.
Yeah. Hundreds of people.
If this was on ESPN, I was getting hundreds of people. We might have a problem. But
this is not ESPN. This is Monday Night Rants. But hundreds of people. Like, comparatively, your Knicks article of the Inept Franchise Series got 800 people. So
okay,
and that's the lowest one, which is surprising.
Okay.
But yeah, this is we're rising up the leaderboards here. So here is the article here. Obviously, this is since 2000, everybody. So when we go into this, we're talking about 2000, and I do have a game I'm going to play with you, and I'm also good, and we're going to play with our guest, which is a diehard, lifelong Raiders fans. And
oh boy.
I'll tell you what, though, he has a lot of shoes to fill because he is going to be talking for all the Raiders fans in the world on this show tonight.
Oh, some big clown shoes to fill, man.
Did you prepare your Raiders jokes? By the way, and we'll dive into each section. In each segment, we're going to talk about the coaches, which is there's a lot. We're going to talk about the beak that Gruden wore. We are going to be talking about the drafting, which is when my game will take place. About the drafting of where are they now? Raiders first round draft picks.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, which also, if you've read the article, you know where they are. And we'll talk about Fat Jamarcus Russell. Obviously, Darius Hayward-Bay is one of them as well. And then we'll go into just the sad state of everything that is this black hole kingdom here of the Raiders.
I will say this. Those fans rule, man. Like, those fans are so
I
cool.
know many of Raiders fans, and they are all cool people. Like,
yeah, I will admit.
I've never met a Raiders fan who has it. You know, I joke about the Raiders a lot, especially on this show. But they're all in good terms with it. Let's put it that way. And they joke on me because I'm a Chargers fan. I mean, what do we have? We have zero. We have nothing.
I mean, the only one that might not be in good terms is arguably the most famous fan, Ice Cube. He might be pretty upset, but that's pretty.
He is not watching tonight. I text him, and he is at the game. So he is not.
I should have hit up his kid, O'Shea. He might have been watching. O'Shea Jackson.
All right. So what do you want to do first? You want to talk about the coaches, the drafting, or we could also bring in the fan? You got to let me know what you want to do.
I say we bring in the fan and then start talking with all three of us. I say we do that.
Let's bring in the fan. Let me send him the invite right now.
Oh, he's not even here yet.
No, I sent him the invite, but I'm going to say, come on in right now. He's waiting in the wings. He said he's barbecuing. He's watching the NBA, slaughterhouse of a game already.
This is not a good game. I'm already praying for it to be Saturday for the NHL, the Stanley Cup final to start. My goodness, this is bad.
So this is.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe if the Celtics win, this is Al Horford's first ring.
It will be his first ring, and
he would probably
NCAA champion.
Yeah, he'd probably retire.
He was on that Florida team that won.
Oh God, he's that old?
Yeah, he was on that.
He was on that back-to-back. That was like 2006, 2007. That was 20 years ago.
With Noah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, he's here. Filibuster. Should I bring him on?
Oh yes, please do.
Let's bring him on. Philly, what's going on? Welcome to the Raiders episode.
God.
Yo. What is up, guys?
He is. Hey, you're one to talk heavy T. You got Falcons gear all around you. And
I have one. Okay, yeah, I guess I have a banner in the back. Yeah, that's true. I guess.
Yeah, come on. So Philly, this is the Raiders episode, which I've told you about. So we're gonna be talking about the Raiders. I don't know if you've read Heavy T. By the way, Heavy T, Philly, aka Filibuster, aka Heavy T.
Heavy T, what's going on, brother?
Heavy T, aka
what's up, man? Nice to meet you.
Tyler. Heavy T is a Falcons fan, so we give him a lot of shit on the show.
Deservedly so.
So what we have here is this the Raiders episode, and there are going to be Raiders jokes, and I'm sorry.
Bring it on.
Yep, we're going to talk to you about your fandom, your hurt, and your happiness all in one, because I want to know everything about it. So I'm gonna ask you some questions first. I know you're barbecuing, watching the game, right?
I mean, it's not much of a game, but
yeah, I'm going to tell you, you're not missing much right now. It's almost a 30-point lead for the Celtics, so we'll leave it at that. Okay, Raiders. When did you become a Raiders fan?
Oh man, well, when I was a little kid, my whole family were 49ers fans, and so when I was choosing my team, kind of went the opposite. I was the black sheep of the family, so
literally
I call myself the silver and black sheep of the family.
Similar to me, because my dad was from the Bay Area, so he was a 49ers fan, and my mom was from LA, so she was a Rams fan. So I said, screw you guys, I'm going south.
And yeah, I loved just going against my family growing up, and even though it's not much of a rivalry, I can't stand the 49ers. Yeah.
Hey,
Boo Niners.
There you go. Boo Niners. We got a Niners hater here on the show. What we got in chat here? By the way, this new thing is crazy. Angelo says, I like the Raiders when Kenny Stabler was quarterback.
Oh my God.
Oh man. Well, sure, we'll get into that.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever been to a Raiders game in the Black Hole?
I have.
Oh, how was that experience?
Oh man, it was great. We played the Jaguars. We ended up kicking their ass, so it was a really fun experience. Just being down there. Do you
remember who the quarterbacks were for that game, or what year that was?
For the Jaguars, I know it was Garrard. It was.
Oh wow!
Oh, this is a while back.
Yeah. It was a while ago.
No wonder you kicked their ass.
The Raiders quarterback, man. Who was it at the time? I want to say.
It had to be pre-Carr.
Yeah, Carson Palmer, possibly.
Oh, it could have been Carson Palmer year.
Carson Palmer.
So I'm trying to think when Garrard was the quarterback. That was late 2000s. Jason Campbell was there for a minute. It could have been Jamarcus Russell.
I don't think
you know what?
Jamarcus Russell play.
Kerry Collins was there at the
You're
end.
lucky.
That's right.
It might be Kerry Collins.
Yeah, Kerry Collins was there.
I went on a party bus, so I don't remember too much of what happened.
Except for that, they won. All right. What is your best moment that you remember it as being a Raiders fan?
Like going to a game?
Was that it? Just going to the game, being in the Black Hole? No, just in general, your favorite moment of your living life of being a Raiders fan.
I got a story I'm pretty proud of. My first Raider game, I got arrested.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I like.
Well, I didn't see that one coming.
Well, actually, I just got thrown in the drunk tank, and but I did Alameda County Jail. Yeah. For
what? Can we ask what you got arrested for, or is that like?
No. It was just drunk in public. I had misplaced my ticket, and then got into it with the security guard.
Nice. That is so Raiders. So you did. So did you miss the game?
Yeah, because this happened pretty early in the game.
Oh no.
And yeah, the Raiders ended up whooping butt that game as well, so I missed a good.
All right. Hey, who'd have thought a Raiders fan was arrested? That's good.
Proud moment. Yeah.
All right. What's your worst? I mean, that could probably be the worst one too, I guess. But what's your least favorite moment of being a Raiders fan?
Oh man, this is also going to a game with my wife.
Uh-oh. She's still your wife, I hope. No,
she is, yeah. Hopefully she's not listening right now. It was right after the Boston Marathon bombing.
Ooh.
So security was super tight getting in. We missed pretty much half the game just trying to get in. My wife's purse was too big. She ended up having to throw it away.
Oh.
She was furious. We get in and we just get stomped by the Vikings.
Oh.
And yeah, it was just.
No one likes to get stomped by the Vikings. That's for sure.
Not a very fun day being a Raider fan that day.
No, not at all. All right, let's play a little game here.
All right.
Now I'm going to show this on the screen. This is what's considered the worst draft class in the history of the NFL. So let me put it on the screen here, and we're going to play a game of where are they now, and I want you to tell me where these players are now. I'm just going to show it real quick so everyone can see. This is the 2020 draft class for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh my goodness!
Now, none of these players are on the team anymore. None of them. So we're going to go in here, and I'm going to name the names, and I won't go in order because one of them is the most obvious in the world.
Yeah, we all know where he is.
Yeah, so we'll save him for last. But let's start with Damon Arnett. Was also a first-round pick, 19th overall out of Ohio State, a cornerback. Do you guys know where he is now?
I don't think he's in the league anymore. I'm trying to remember.
I would guess making TikTok videos somewhere.
Yes. Now, he was the one seen going all John Morant on everyone, pulling out a gun on TikTok. He was let go, and he has never played a game since. He has been the practice squad for the Dolphins and the Chiefs. He is completely out of the NFL, a first-round pick in 2000, completely out. And the best part is he tried out for the UFL and didn't make a team.
That's actually hilarious. Or if you're trying out for the Rocks, league and you can't even make that. Oh, geez, just hang it up, dude. You're done.
All right. After him was Lynn Bowden. Remember him? A running back / receiver out of Kentucky. They had a utility guy, was drafted into the 3rd round in that draft. Do you know where Lynn Bowden is now?
I'll say he's on a practice squad somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Philly, do you have any idea where Lynn Bowden is? Do you remember Lynn Bowden?
Briefly, yeah. I remember how mad I was at the draft pick. I'm guessing he's not playing anywhere anymore.
Yeah, Lynn Bowden never played a snap for the Raiders at all. Drafted in the 3rd round, never played a snap. He's only played 7 games in his NFL career, and he's currently a free agent. He last was on the New Orleans Saints squad. So this draft was bad.
Still trying.
But you needed another receiver because the first one wasn't enough, so you drafted Brian Edwards out of South Carolina. Philly, do you remember Brian Edwards?
Oh, man.
In the 3rd round, by the way.
Yeah, and knee problems, right? And
yeah. Raiders, injury prone.
Where the Raiders never seem to care about injury-prone guys. Just draft them anyway.
Yeah, in 2 years, he played a total of 15 games with the Raiders for a total of 779 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's it. He was last seen playing 1 game for the Atlanta Falcons in 2022.
Legend.
He is out of the league. Ooh. Tanner Muse from Clemson in the 4th round. Does anyone know where Tanner Muse is now?
Has he, by any chance, joined the band Muse?
No, he has not. They could use a 4th member, though, but no, he is not.
I feel like his name I've actually heard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why his name rings a bell.
Yeah. Well, he never took a snap for the Raiders ever in their history as well. He's been on the practice squad for the Seahawks, the Steelers, and the Chargers. He's never actually played a snap in the NFL.
Okay, well, I don't know why it rings a bell then.
Another Clemson guy, if I believe it. So
John Simpson, the next Clemson guy in the same round, a guard. Does anyone know where John Simpson is now?
He went back to Clemson to spread the word of God with Debo.
Yeah, he's also never played a snap in the NFL, so you have that as well. 4th round, by the way. And rounding this off is Amick Robertson, a cornerback. Their last pick of this draft from Louisiana Tech. Does anyone know where he is now?
Back in Louisiana.
Well, good news. He ended up being the best player from this draft for the Raiders.
I was going to say, he's still playing.
Yeah.
Still playing something.
He actually started 21 games for the Raiders in 4 years, which is more than any of the other players, obviously. And he's currently on the Detroit Lions, where he signed a 3-year contract.
Okay.
This offseason.
All right.
So, hey, one person from this historic draft we're going to show again in 2020 right here. One person, their last pick was the one who made it in the NFL with no issues. By the way, this does look like a mugshot lineup. I'm not going to lie.
Lynn Bowden looks like he's seen some things. With that neck tattoo and just those eyes, got the bags under it, he's seen some shit.
Yeah. And what he's not seeing is the field. That is
true.
Yeah, so there you go. Congratulations. That is, let's give a little shout out to the 2020 Raiders draft class.
Oh, yeah.
Considered to be one of the worst of all time. Philly, I got another question for you here. And some jokes, too. We'll get into that in a second.
Oh, yeah, I love jokes.
How you feeling about the Raiders this season? I think you have a really, really good receiving core. I really like Zamir White a lot. He's not a receiving back, but he can ground and pound. Your offensive line is okay, but your quarterback issues are there. What do you think the record's going to be for the Raiders this year? And are you excited, lukewarm, or just like, screw it, I don't care this year?
I mean, obviously, we're gonna go as far as our quarterback takes us, and with Aiden O'Connor or Minshew, record I'd say no better than 8 wins.
Okay. Well, I have news for you. They aren't going to be the worst in the division because I think the Broncos are absolutely trash.
I agree with you there.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm trying to. Who's the Broncos quarterback?
It'll be Bo Nix, right?
Oh
yeah.
God. Yeah. No. Yeah. They'll be the worst.
Yeah, he's gonna go.
Or Jarrett Stidham, one of the two. It's not good.
Bad situation either way.
Yeah, not good at all. Do you have more faith in Aiden O'Connell or in Gardner Minshew?
I hope Aiden O'Connell makes that next step. Gardner Minshew, I feel like he's kind of already reached his ceiling.
He made the Pro Bowl games last year, but who did it?
And Aiden O'Connell, I think he still can progress, and hopefully he makes that leap next year. I would be happy if Aiden O'Connell was the starter.
Are you sad that they didn't get a quarterback? I know they were all kind of taken ahead of time.
I mean, yeah, obviously it would have been nice for us to make a move and get a quarterback, but there wasn't really much out there. Kirk Cousins?
Well, the Falcons destroyed everybody when they traded up to get Michael Penix. Ask Heavy T about that. He loves that one.
So no, I understand that there wasn't really much out there, and I know they probably were trying to make moves to move up in the draft, and it just wasn't there. And the Brock.
Oh, did we lose Philly?
I believe so. Yes.
Sorry, calling me.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Yeah, someone was calling me. Sorry, guys.
It's all good. Tell them you're on air right now. You're live on a radio show.
Yeah, you want to hear me? Get on the show.
There you go.
Brock Bowers move, kind of a head scratcher, but I mean, best player available.
Yeah.
If he's the generational player that people are saying he's going to be, won't be a stupid pick. So I don't know. I'm excited. I'm always excited for the Raiders season. I think our defense is going to be a lot better than people think. Just secondary needs to step up a little bit.
Yeah, agree with that. I have I keep on setting my DVR to record The Biggest Loser, but all I get is Raider games.
Yeah. Same thing, man. I got that same problem. But I still watch it.
Yeah, that's an old joke because I don't even think The Biggest Loser is even around anymore, man. That's Heavy T. Do you have any questions for our Raiders fan, who is, by the way, the voice of all Raiders fans in the world right now on Monday Night Rants / Thursday Night Rants for Raiders episode?
Ironically, I don't have any questions because I think in terms of the Falcons fan base and the Raiders fan base, as far as pain, forgettable moments, and absolute torture that we are put through, it's about the same. So I can't really compare. I think since 2000 is pretty much the same.
I think all three of us could say so.
And just completely striking out on draft picks. It's kind of kind of do the same thing.
We'll be talking about that after you leave. Stay tuned because Heavy T is going to run that down.
Definitely.
It's going to be crazy.
There is one in the later part of the 2010s where both the Falcons and the Raiders passed on that dude. I still can't believe it to this day.
Wait till you hear the players that Heavy T will say the Raiders passed on for these. It's crazy in the first round. It's nuts.
I'll have a bucket next to me because I'll probably start barfing.
I have to ask, who's your favorite Raider player of all time?
Charles Woodson.
Respect
to that one. Not Mark. Well, I guess from your lifetime, because you also have what, Allen?
Close second, Tim Brown. Loved Tim Brown as a kid.
Tim Brown, I will say, probably one of the most underrated players ever in the entire league. Mm-hmm. He gets no mention, no respect at all.
Definitely not. And the numbers are there.
All right, Philly, before you go, I have a story for you, okay?
All right.
A Redskins fan, an Eagles fan, and a Raiders fan, and a Broncos fan are climbing a mountain, arguing about who loves their team more. The Redskins. The Commanders fan, my bad. Oh, no, we're getting canceled. Shoot. The Commanders fan insists he is the most loyal. This is for the Commanders, he yells and jumps off the side of the mountain. Not to be outdone, the Eagles fan shouts, "This is for the Eagles!" and jumps off the mountain. The Broncos fan is next to profess his love for his team. He yells, "This is for everybody!" and pushes the Raiders fan off the mountain.
That's not where I thought that was going to go. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
A story from story time here on Monday Night Rants. All right, Philly, we'll let you go. I know you want to eat. Watch the end of this terrible basketball game.
Yeah,
we just want to get
something's changed.
an official Raiders fan in here to say their piece about why their Raider fandom is so loved, and also you're a great person. I'm glad to get to know you. And even though you're a Raiders fan, I'm a Chargers fan. We have a lot of good times as well. So Heavy T, Philly, filibuster, Heavy T.
It's been a privilege, guys. Hell yeah, man.
Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you soon, and good luck to your Raiders this season, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good luck, guys.
Hopefully they're not last.
We never are.
All right. Let him, my friend. There you have it. A Raiders fan giving his... I think it's really funny how his favorite moment was literally him getting arrested at a Raiders game.
I mean, I feel like, especially if you were a fan of that team, I feel like getting arrested is kind of a rite of privilege. There's just certain teams where that sounds about like if you go to a game and you root for the Niners, the Cowboys, the Raiders, I'm trying to think, maybe the Jets or the Giants, I feel like it's a rite of passage that you get arrested. Probably the Bears too. Definitely Cleveland because, well, besides the Browns, there's nothing to do in that city. So, like, do you think people go to these games for these teams and like, man, dude, I gotta go home into this. Like, God, like, this sucks. Like, this is the highlight of your day is watching your team get blown out like 41-0 at home.
It sucks, dude. I remember the worst thing ever for me was it was the playoffs, probably like 7 years ago as a Chargers fan. Lamar Jackson was a rookie. The Chargers dominated in Baltimore. And then they go and play Tom Brady and the Patriots. And by halftime, I was supposed to like clean out the garage that day. And after the game, and by halftime, I was in the garage cleaning that. It was like 51-7. It was crazy.
Yeah, I think that was Phillip Rivers last year.
Yeah, I think so. And that game was worse to me than the Raiders game last year. because the Raiders game last year was just funny to me because you had Easton Stick starting for the Chargers. It was just, it wasn't the same, but it was, that was probably one of the most like, blowout, like I hate myself moments I could remember recently, but I've had a lot of them as Chargers fans, but as a Chargers fan, but yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, let me see. The halftime score was 35-7. Yes.
Yeah, it was
the final was 41-28.
41. Yeah, and there was all garbage time at the end. Yeah, it was a rough day because I thought they were going to win, and that could have been the year.
Did New England go to the Super Bowl that year?
I believe that was the year they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles.
No, that would have been the year before. Is this the one where they beat the Rams? I think so.
Oh,
I think so.
That freaking lovely game of love. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is that game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know they beat Atlanta. They go to the Super Bowl 3 straight years. They beat Atlanta, lose to Philly.
Yeah.
Beat LA. So I'm pretty sure this is the third of those 3 years.
Yeah.
They beat the Rams.
I think the Chargers could have beat LA that year. God dang it.
Well, couldn't get past New England, so.
No shit. All right. What do you want to talk about first?
Oh man. You know what? We'll dive into the drafting because the coaching, I feel there's a lot more interesting little tidbits in the coaching part. So we'll get to the drafting.
My wife was about to put a Raiders jersey on my daughter, but I reminded her that it was a choking hazard.
God, dude. I was like, oh God.
There's more. It's going all night.
See, the difference between you and me is I don't have to make any jokes about the franchise when they themselves are already a joke.
So. Oh, wow. That deserves all my freaking, there it is. All my buttons move when I added more.
Yeah, man. So, let's get right into the drafting thing because there's some doozies here, and I list out players that they could have taken instead, and I'm not gonna lie, they would have made a different decision every single time. Could be looking at a 5-time Super Bowl champion.
Well, let's start from 2000.
Yeah.
We're gonna go as quickly as we can, and you're gonna be the one to tell me if it was a good pick or who they could have picked otherwise, because you have it in front of you, and I have this in front of me.
I'll be honest, one of these is good. The rest of them are terrible. One of these is actually okay.
Yes, the rest are pretty bad.
Yeah.
In 2000, at the 17th overall pick from Florida State, at the time Oakland Raiders drafted Sebastian Janikowski. Thoughts?
The kicker.
Yes.
Okay, to be fair, in hindsight, he played for the team for like 16, 17 years. He's one of the highest scorers in team history. So, okay, yeah, it was probably a good pick. So he's there probably in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. So why did you take him in the 1st round? And like I said, I understand, like he's actually a really good player, but it's hard to justify it because Seattle is on the clock 2 picks later and they take Sean Alexander.
Oh,
who was one of the best running backs in the 2000s.
Yeah. One of the original Madden Curse players.
Yeah, he was I think it was like the 3rd or 4th. I know the OG one everybody think of is Michael Vick, but Sean Alexander's right behind him. He fell off a cliff after he got on Madden.
All right, 2001. They went back to Florida State again. A DB named Derek Gibson.
No idea who that dude is, but a couple guys. I mean, he wasn't great. I think his career lasted 6 seasons. Couple guys you could have taken that were taken within the next 8 picks. Reggie Wayne, future Hall of Fame wide receiver. Drew Brees, future Hall of Fame quarterback. And Chad Johnson, or so some of you may know him as Chad Ochocinco, one of the all-time greats in the 2000s as far as wide receiver goes.
Yeah, Derek Gibson played for the Raiders for 5 years. He's a defensive back, 1st round pick, and he only had 3 interceptions in 5 years and started only 32 games. Woo! 2002, they had Philip Buchanan from Miami, another DB, because obviously Gibson did not work the year before, and Napoleon Harris, a linebacker from Northwestern.
Now, I will give Philip Buchanan some credit. He actually did have an okay career. Just most of it was not with Oakland. So there was that. He was there for 3 years, and then they let him go. It's like, he was actually good. What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
So they let him go. Napoleon Harris was the other first-round pick. He lasted 3 seasons at Oakland, had 3 forced fumbles and 2.5 sacks. Fun fact, the next pick, the literal very next pick, Baltimore took Ed Reed, Hall of Famer.
Oh, that's a rough one right there.
Yep.
2002? No, that was 2000. Sorry, 2003.
Skip to 2004.
Wow.
2004, actually.
Well, 2003 was Namdi Asamoah and
Great
Tyler
pick.
Bright.
I will give him that. Great pick.
Asamoah was a good pick. And then
the ironic thing with Asamoah is they knew when to let him go because Philly signs him to that mega deal, and he sucked.
Yeah.
He was not the same dude.
No.
So they knew exactly when to let him go. So I'll give them a little bit of credit, like this much, and that's it.
All right, you're gonna have a lot to say on this one. 2004, Robert
Dear Lord in
Gallery,
heaven.
number 2 overall.
So number 2 overall. This is the Eli Manning drafted first overall year. So he was number 2. The next 3 picks. I mean, you're talking about, this is like when Green Bay drafted Tony Mandarich, and it was like around Troy Aikman, Deion Sanders, Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas, and then Mandarich was the one bust. It's pretty similar because you have Eli Manning getting first overall, who's probably going to go to the Hall of Fame. Then you have Robert Gallery, who the Raiders take. And then the next 3 picks, Larry Fitzgerald, future Hall of Famer. Phillip Rivers, future Hall of Famer.
Hopefully.
Sean Taylor would have been, I am convinced he would have been a future Hall of Famer.
I agree.
Taken way too soon in 2007, but he was a hell of a player.
But
then on top of that, within the next 10 picks, Ben Roethlisberger also taken future Hall of Famer.
And how many games did Robert Gallery play for the Raiders?
He played there for a little bit. I want to say he played there for like 5 years, but in his career, he missed at least a season's worth of games with injuries.
Yeah, and he also is known for giving up sacks at a career rate.
Well, we will get to that later. Trust me. We will get to that.
All right, moving on. In 2005, Fabian Washington.
This is
back from Nebraska. Go for it.
Yeah, he was had 5 interceptions in 3 years, which is at best.
Man, they suck at drafting defensive backs, don't they?
Yeah, no, they're terrible.
Ever since Charles Wood.
Okay, this goes into the problem. What does Al Davis see? Oh, that guy's fast. I want him. Does he have bricks for hands? Probably. We'll still take him anyway. By the way, this pick was number 23 in 2005. You want to know who number 24 was? Well, it was taken by Green Bay, and his name was Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, and he is a Cal guy from Oakland.
It was right there in their backyard. That's right. He was at Berkeley. They're in Oakland. It wasn't too far.
Ooh,
it was right there.
Okay, so far since 2000, I've seen a trend here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're in 2005. 4 defensive backs. And in 2006, another defensive back at 7 overall, and Michael Huff.
Huff was, I vaguely remember Huff. He was okay at best.
He was fast.
Yeah, he was fast. He was on that. He got taken the year after Texas won the title. So I mean,
he did play. He did play for Oakland for 7 years, but again, another defensive back. 7 years for Oakland. Only had 11 interceptions.
Congrats, I guess. I think it was a safety though, so I'll give him.
Yeah, he was a safety. So here you go. So, and we're saying he's one of the best so far. And now we come to 2007.
As you can see, the bar is not high.
The Raiders have the first overall pick in the NFL draft.
Okay, so there's a couple little tidbits on this.
Go for it.
Jesus Christ. Okay, first off, the Raiders take Jamarcus Russell.
Yep, big fat Jamarcus Russell.
Big fat
Eddie Lacy's cousin from another mother.
No, literally could be Eddie Lacy, the version of Eddie Lacy at quarterback. Just awful pick. So they didn't really know it at the time, but he was addicted to lean codeine syrup for all you old heads.
No.
Yeah. Which I actually did not know that until I did the research. I actually did not know that.
Until he was arrested?
I did. I mean, I didn't look at anybody's arrest record. He probably could have been. I don't know. But he showed up to camp overweight. He sat out into the season his rookie year before finally signing that contract. So here is the first tidbit.
Well, first of all, I want to talk about overweight.
Okay. God, dude. My dude went into the.
That's a quarterback, people.
He went to Louisiana State. My guy was on the crawfish diet. Like,
Yeah.
jeez, dude. My goodness. So this is where the first tidbit starts. So they take Jamarcus Russell, number 1.
Mhm.
Number 2 in this draft, Detroit Lions, Calvin Johnson.
Ooh.
Number 3 in this draft, Cleveland Browns, Joe Thomas. Hall of Famer.
Ooh, one of the best tackles of all time.
Number 7 in this draft, Minnesota Vikings, Adrian Peterson, future Hall of Famer.
Probably one of the best running backs of all time.
Yeah. Number 11 in this draft, 49ers, Patrick Willis, Hall of Famer.
One of the best linebackers of all time.
Number 12 in this draft, Buffalo Bills, Marshawn Lynch, future Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm. Beast mode.
Who ironically did play for the Raiders just way later in his career.
Yes.
And then number 14 in this draft, New York Jets, Darrelle Revis.
Oh.
Hall of Famer. So in the first 15 picks, there are 6 future Hall of Famers, and they got the biggest bust in NFL history.
Who were the other quarterbacks in that draft? I'll tell you right now. I will tell you right now.
So while you're telling me that, I'll tell you the second tidbit.
Okay.
And the second tidbit is that Dennis Allen is the coach at this time. Dennis Allen had heard from the Lions specifically, who had the number 2 pick. So they're going to take whoever the Raiders pick. So he had heard from the Lions that Jamarcus Russell was do not do it. Basically, he has attitude issues. He's not all that great. Kind of doesn't care. Just don't do it. And who's the one who you think picked Jamarcus Russell? Because it wasn't Dennis Allen. No, it was freaking Al Davis.
Al Davis.
And Al Davis had even come out and said, obviously before he died, because he didn't die, or he didn't live much longer after this. I think he only lived a couple years longer. Al Davis had came out and said that it is true. Dennis Allen wanted Calvin Johnson. Al Davis overrode him and took Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, you should have taken Calvin Johnson. That's for sure here.
Yeah.
Now the other quarterbacks in that draft were pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. Actually, really bad. Brady Quinn was taken by the Browns in the first round late.
I understand Brady Quinn wasn't that good. He was better than Jamarcus Russell.
Oh, well, yeah, most of these guys are.
Yeah.
Kevin Kolb for the Eagles. Remember
Kevin Kolb. I remember
Kolb.
him.
John Beck for the Dolphins. He had a couple starts in the NFL. Drew Stanton. Trent Edwards for the Buffalo Bills. Isaiah Stanback for the Cowboys. Jeff Rowe, Troy Smith, and Jordan Palmer. So
I forgot about Troy Smith.
Yeah, so those were the other quarterbacks in this draft. So yeah, but and this started that new era of when you had the first pick, you have to select a quarterback. So
yeah, and I'm honestly, I just had to double check something. So I'm looking at the Raiders roster for 2007. They had a quarterback on their roster who was better than Jamarcus Russell. This is Josh McCown. McCown's not great, but he would have won more games than Jamarcus Russell sucked, man.
No, he was
terrible.
Moving on to 2008 here, and we'll go quickly here. Darren McFadden.
So one other little tidbit. That is now between 2000 and 2007. The Raiders had 4 picks that were used directly in front of a Hall of Famer. Ed Reed, Larry Fitzgerald, Aaron Rodgers, Calvin Johnson. Imagine if they had just picked those 4 dudes instead of the picks that they went with.
Yeah.
We're talking minimum 2-time Super Bowl champion. Minimum.
Maybe. It's hard to win a Super Bowl, but yeah, you're right. Because we'll talk about the coaching later.
Yeah,
that's the big aspect of it. 2008, Darren McFadden, not a bad pick.
He was okay. He wasn't his Arkansas self, but he was all right.
Yeah, we'll skip to 2009 because this was, I think, a terrible pick. Darius Hayward Bay.
I remember watching the draft, and I think it was Mike Mayock, who ironically would become Raiders GM and be awful at it. I think it was Mike Mayock. He just absolutely ripped the Raiders picking Hayward Bay. Dude was fast as lightning. That was his only talent. He couldn't catch to save his life. He wasn't a great route runner. You look at the other guys they could have had.
Michael Crabtree, which ended up playing for the
Raiders. Yeah, who ended up playing for the Raiders, and who was great.
Yeah.
But you look at the other guys they could have had. This draft class was kind of eh.
It was a bad year. Well, Matthew Stafford, number 1 overall, was a hit.
And that's pretty much, well, I mean, as far as surefire Hall of Famers, Stafford's probably the closest one. Yeah. But the other guys.
Was this the Jets' Mark Sanchez here? It was,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God.
Other guys that were drafted after Hayward Bay that the Raiders could have got: Brian Cushing, who was a great linebacker in Houston, probably on steroids though. Jeremy Maclin, the speedster in Philly.
Oh, yeah.
Alex Mack,
Oh,
great
yeah,
offensive line presence, was the leader of that
Cal,
Falcons
yeah.
team that got to the Super Bowl. And Clay Matthews, who everybody knows Clay Matthews. Behind Matt Stafford, Clay Matthews probably
even
has
Brian Orakpo was a pretty good player at it.
Yeah, Brian Orakpo. Yeah. Brian Orakpo was pretty good.
The Redskins at the time. I don't want to keep on saying Redskins here. I don't want to get canceled, but
that is what it is.
Darius Hayward Bay was a bust, to say the
He
least.
sucked.
I think this one is interesting. In 2010 is Rolando McClain.
Yeah, so I made a little joke here. So Rolando McClain was one of the first Alabama guys that was drafted after Saban had kind of restructured that program and turned it into, an NFL factory. So McClain, of course, he's one of the dudes that doesn't pan out. 3 seasons, he had 246 tackles, which is not a lot for 3 years. 1 interception, 1 forced fumble. Again, this draft class, this is literally what I wrote. Again, this draft class was just eh. However, Jason Pierre-Paul had a better career on just 9 fingers than McClain did. Yeah, so Jason Pierre-Paul was in this draft. Yep. Oakland could have also used the help of Mike Iwapati, who was a pretty solid offensive lineman. Marquise Pouncey, great center. Demarius Thomas, rest in peace, gone too soon. But
Dez Bryant.
Dez Bryant and Devin McCourty also taken after the Raiders pick.
Yeah, and also Rob Gronkowski was taken in this draft as well.
I did not even notice that. I was just looking at first round picks. I didn't even know.
He was in the second. That was the Gronkowski year. He was the.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, and then of course no pick in 2011, no first round pick in 2012.
Yeah, so you got to fast forward to 2013.
And we'll try to get quicker because the next couple are kind of hits in my eyes. But DJ Hayden.
Yeah, DJ Hayden. Let's see, 4 years with the Raiders. Another D-back, of course.
Yeah, that's all they drafted.
Yeah,
fast D-backs.
3 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, 1 sack. Didn't really do anything. They could have had, in the first round specifically, Darius Slay or DeAndre Hopkins. Also, there was a 3rd round gem in that draft they could have had. Keenan Allen.
Yeah, well, everyone could have had him. Khalil Mack.
The Chargers did, though.
I know. Khalil Mack in 2014 hit.
That one still bugs me because I wanted him to fall to the Falcons. And, of course, the Raiders picked him up.
And they just let him
go.
The
one time. Well, yeah, and they didn't do anything with the assets they got back because I believe he was traded.
He was traded to the Bears, and all the assets they got back ended up being failures.
Yeah, and the one time the Raiders actually made a correct drafting decision, that was so bad.
Yeah.
So Carl Joseph.
Yeah, we'll skip Amari Cooper 2015.
Yeah, because he was good. Carl Joseph 2016 finished with, he was a safety, had 4 interceptions, 15 pass deflections, and was out of the league after 2 years. After 2 years. People who were taken right after him, Chris Jones, because the Raiders pick this year was towards the end of the first round. Chris Jones was one of the first picks taken in the second. Also, it should be noted that in the second round, they could have had a gem, but they took whoever the hell Jihad Ward is. Could have had Derrick Henry instead.
Wow. 2017, 18, and 19. We're going to put kind of in their own little era here.
Yeah, look at this. 2017 and 2019. Look at that. More DBs. Am I shocked? My goodness, man.
Whoever the hell Gary and Conley is.
Yeah, so this is the one that bugs me because this is the one that, granted, a lot of teams, but also Atlanta really screwed up on. So in this draft, first off, Conley only spends 2.5 seasons with the Raiders, 3 years in the league total. So this guy was traded midseason and was done after that. So this is what I wrote. Oakland could have taken a better defensive back with Tre'Davious White, who is still on the board. Maybe they can forgive themselves for that one. Maybe they thought Conley was the better of the 2 options. There is no excuse for passing on TJ frickin' Watt.
Nope.
In this draft. Same goes for you, Atlanta. I am not over that Takk McKinley pick. I'm still pissed off about that.
TJ Watt. Wow, that would have been a game changer. They could have had Khalil Mack and TJ Watt on the same team.
Yeah. So
Colton Miller, a tackle that didn't pan out.
I don't even think I mentioned that one. I was like, who cares at this point?
I don't even know who he is. He has the shortest Wikipedia page I've ever seen in my life. So
2019. First off, I want to say one thing. For writing these blogs, oh my God, NFL or Football References.
Now this was the 2 straight years where they had 3 first round picks. The Raiders did. In 2019
Yes.
they had 2 in 2020. So 3.
Yeah, they had 2019. Now in 2019 they hit with one of the picks, which I will get to in a second.
Yeah.
But at number 4,
my favorite. This is my favorite.
They absolutely reached and took Cleveland Farrell, a defensive end this time. Yeah, and I said the problem was that most people in the NFL thought that they reached, and they absolutely did. Never lived up to the hype, just finished his Raiders career with 10 total sacks, out of the leagues after 5 seasons. You know who was picked between that and their next first-round pick? Josh Allen, TJ Hawkinson, and Chris Lindstrom, who, if you don't know him, has been a very valuable piece to Atlanta's offensive line.
Yes.
So,
but they did get Josh Jacobs.
At number 24, they did get Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. He's no longer on their team after 3 years, but they did.
Yeah, I don't.
4 years.
That one's kind of iffy. I don't know if that was necessarily their fault. It's just the running back market is so weird right now. So,
and then Jonathan Abram, who ended up being a better player on different teams.
Yeah, Jonathan Abram. Honestly, Jonathan Abram was okay, but you look at the picks that were still on the board. Deebo Samuel, AJ Brown, and DK Metcalf all went after Abrams.
Jesus.
Do got to give slight credit. 2019, they did get Josh Jacobs. This is also the year in the 4th round they got Max Crosby. So I will give them some credit.
Max Crosby was
an absolute hidden gem.
We've been doing this for 19 years, and we've named 3 good picks.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And now the all year we talked about earlier with our resident Raiders fan, Filibuster, the 2020 draft, the all prison team, Henry Ruggs and Damon Arnett.
Yeah, just like I'm not even like in the blog, and for correct reasons. I just didn't even make any jokes with Ruggs. Just don't be dumb, dude.
Yeah,
don't be drunk driving at 156 miles an hour. You go to hell. Like, I'll be real, you going to hell, bro.
And not only did he kill a woman, he killed an animal too, and that just
killed a woman and a dog. Basically, and he's like, gives his half-ass apology.
They were in the flaming car screaming, and he was just like dazed, sitting there. It's sad. It's a sad thing. And then Damon Arnett, just don't flash guns on Instagram. Like
don't be dumb, dude. Like, how hard is it to not be dumb?
And
why is Greg Hardy your role model?
He couldn't even make a UFL team. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. So Damon Arnett. Sorry, I almost said David Arquette. No, that's a whole nother story. Damon Arnett was drafted at 19 overall. Guys who were still available in the first round that the Raiders passed on. Patrick Queen, solid linebacker. Brandon Ayuk, pretty solid receiver. Justin frickin' Jefferson. That is God almighty. This last one.
Alex, yeah, we're not going to talk about Tyree Wilson or Brock Bowers, obviously.
Yeah, it's still too early. Yeah, it's been a year or two.
Alex Leatherwood.
This one is so bad.
By the way, new Chargers backup tackle.
Yeah, so this is what I said. When a team drafts a tackle in the first round, they expect that tackle to be around for years to come. Tackle, after all, is one of the most important positions on the field, constantly guarding the quarterback's blind sides from edge rushers. Leatherwood lasted 1 year. 1 year, drafted 17th overall, came from the national champs at Alabama. This dude was called for 14 penalties, which was among the most for offensive linemen that year.
Christ.
Allowed 8 sacks his rookie year. So we're talking a sack every 2 games. There's only 16 games at this point. And that's the second most by any offensive lineman in the league. How dare you? Like, how dare you, sir? Oh my God. 2 other guys that were, this is another little joke I made. Someone with the talent of Najee Harris or Travis Etienne would have been a better pick here. Actually, anyone who made it to the second year of their rookie contract would have. Oh my goodness. He was terrible. He was awful.
And now he's on the Chargers.
Yeah, it's the backup. Trust me. As long as your boys keep protecting Herbert, he ain't never seen the field.
That is a long running list of failures drafting in the first round. I'm not gonna lie. Now they have had some hits, I guess, but man, that is just sad. They have one of the worst draft classes of all time in the NFL in 2020. But we got to talk about the coaching now.
You want to talk about they had some picks, some home runs in the NFL draft. Hey, no coaching home runs here. There's one.
Hey,
and they effed it up. So
real quick though, we are starting, training camp here soon. I have to ask, do you know how the Raiders spend their first week of training camp?
I don't know. Tell me.
They study the Miranda rights.
Oh God. So bad. That's actually horrendous. That is despicable behavior. Oh my goodness.
You know what the difference between a puppy and a Raiders fan is?
God, what?
A puppy eventually stops whining.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Okay.
I do like that one.
All right, let's talk about the coaching. They've had the most coaches since 2000.
Yeah, I think what it is. I think it's 12 since 2000. Let's see. Yeah, 12 head coaches since 2000.
Whew.
So we're going into 2024. So we're talking about a coach literally every 2 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So this guy got grandfathered in. John Gruden was there from 98 to 2001. I just realized I need to make that as an edit on the
You're good.
blog real quick. But he was there from 98 to 2001. So he kind of gets grandfathered in. Do not worry, folks. We will come back to him later. You do not worry. So
he is a thorn in the side of the Raiders. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So fast forward to 2002, Gruden is gone because he was traded to who, you might ask? We'll get to there. But he is replaced by Bill Callahan. So Gruden's problem with Al Davis is that he couldn't get to the Super Bowl. He got to the AFC Championship game. Tony Siragusa just lands flat on Rich Gannon, practically kills him, looking like a pancake. Gannon's out. They lose to Baltimore. Baltimore goes on to win the Super Bowl. Next year, 2001.
Shout out Trent Dilfer, Fresno State.
2001, and I'm just gonna say it because there's no FCC violations here. Just fucking Tom Brady, fucking Tuck rule. It's still garbage. That call, real quick, the Tuck rule had never been called before that game and was never called since until they got rid of it.
Yeah.
So dumb. But yeah. So 2001, the Raiders get screwed over by the refs. They should have won that game. They would have ended up beating, I think they played Denver in the AFC Championship. They would have won that game. They would have played the Rams in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So Gruden's like, hey, I want top money because I'm one of the lowest paid coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Al Davis, being the cheap ass that he is, well, you didn't win, so I'm not paying you top money. So he gets rid of him. So Bill Callahan comes in, gets the Raiders to the Super Bowl.
Wait,
finally,
real quick. Do you know what Raiders fans do when they win the Super Bowl?
Oh, I know, but go ahead.
They turn off their PlayStation and go to bed. Okay, anyways, keep on going.
So Bill Callahan gets the team to the Super Bowl, and who are they playing? Oh, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and old friend John Gruden.
Mm-hmm.
1 year after he is traded, which I didn't even know you could trade a coach.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I was 9, but I didn't know you could trade a coach. So
happened recently.
Yeah.
And the Broncos are screwed because of it.
Do yourself a favor. Just don't trade for coaches. Just don't.
Yeah, don't. It's stupid.
So Callahan gets there and makes 2 pivotal mistakes. Number one, the night, like a day and a half before the Super Bowl, decides, hey, we're going to go from our running game. We're going to get rid of it. We're going to go all passing game. And everybody's like, we're a better run team. Why the hell are we doing that? So that's number one. Number two, arguably the biggest mistake. Actually, it is the bigger mistake. He never changed the offensive language that the team used when Gruden was there. So Gruden is practicing with the Bucs, and he's using all the same language he used with the Raiders because he knows Callahan hadn't changed it. And the Bucs knew what was coming before the Raiders knew what was coming.
Wow.
They knew the Raiders' plays before the Raiders knew their own plays. So Super Bowl ended up being a blowout. It was 48-21. Rich Gannon sets a Super Bowl record with 5 interceptions. 3 of them returned for touchdowns. Just an awful game. So after that, Oakland falls off a cliff because now they're all old. Mm-hmm. They're all getting hurt. Callahan's fired.
Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, Rich Gannon.
Yeah. All those dudes, right? So they're all hurt. So Callahan's fired. Brings in Norv Turner. Norv Turner, team wasn't good. He wanted to go more to like a running. He wanted to kind of go back to like the running style.
Norv Turner's favorite play is a Madden favorite, HB dive.
Yeah, the problem is that the Raiders didn't have the players to really do HB dive 25, 30 times a game. So he finished his Raiders tenure with a 9-23 record.
Ouch.
Fired after 2005. Art Shell comes in
I
2006
remember Art Shell.
for his second stint as Raiders coach. I will give him this. His first run, he wasn't bad. He was 58. He was 54 and 38 between 1989 and 1994. He wasn't bad. Second one, the fact that this guy's a Raiders legend is the only thing that saved him to getting to the end of the season. They went 2-14.
Ooh.
And that is how they get the number 1 pick and draft Jamarcus Russell.
Ouch. Art Shell, you're responsible for Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah. So I did make one mistake. Dennis Allen was not the head coach when Russell was drafted. That was our boy Lane Kiffin. Lane frickin' Kiffin. So this was the thing too. When college coaches make the jump to the NFL, Harbaugh is a really good example. Now, I know he was at the NFL before, but it's always like, oh, hey, I'm the head coach of a national championship. With the national championship, the NFL's giving me a call. I'm going to be the head coach of that team. It's head coach position to head coach position. Lane Kiffin was not that. I did not know this. Lane Kiffin was offensive coordinator at USC and then just immediately went to NFL head coach, what? I don't think I've ever really seen that before, and I can't think of a time I've seen it since. So Kiffin comes in, and apparently they go 4-12 in the first year, and apparently Al Davis tried to force Kiffin to resign, and Kiffin's like, nah, because you know what? You're paying me some sweet money. I ain't leaving. So what happened is Kiffin goes 1-3 at the beginning of the next year, and Davis actually does end up firing him. Kiffin actually ended up suing the Raiders, basically saying that he didn't get fired for like a valid reason. Judge did side with the Raiders and threw the case out the window. So I guess they lucked out there. But yeah, another guy gone 5-15 in that Raiders tenure. Immediately went back to the college ranks, and you know what? I'll give him this. He's actually been pretty solid down there. Hasn't won a national championship, but he's a pretty solid head coach.
We talked about the college game and with the basketball, with the college and NBA earlier.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Yeah. I mean, very rarely do you get a college coach go to the pros and it kind of works out
right away.
Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer, that wasn't really him though. And then Pete Carroll, they all won Super Bowls and national championships. So it works out sometimes. Yeah. But so Kiffin's gone. Interim head coach takes over. That was Tom Cable. He ended up being there for 2 years. I will give him this. He's a solid offensive line coach. He got the run game up there. They were tops in the league. Defense and everything else didn't matter, though, because they went 17-27. So he's gone. And now we have...
This is my favorite one, too. I love this one. Hugh Jackson, right?
We have our old friend Hugh Jackson. So this one's a little weird. So they're 7-4. And around the time they're at 7-4 is actually when Al Davis passes away. So he dies, and he's not entirely the reason for the team falling off a cliff, because I think they won a game or two after his passing, and then they fell off a cliff. Yeah. So they were 7-4 on the verge. They had to win, I think, like 2 games to pretty much be a lock for the playoffs. They finished 8-8. Ooh. So you go 1-4 the rest of the way through. Fired. Now we have Dennis Allen. It is 2011. And they are on their 7th head coach already. It is 2011.
They are who we thought they were.
And we let him off the hook. All right. I mean, not really, because we're talking about it. But I got to finish the joke.
But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Bingo.
I forgot I had that button.
I did not actually know you had that. So Dennis Allen, he's kind of between a rock and a hard place. Raiders had horrid salary cap issues, trade away all their draft picks. He didn't have anybody.
Yep.
He finished 8-28.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Fired 4 games into the 2004 season. Now, this is the interesting part. Jack Del Rio, the old Jaguars coach at this point, is brought in to be the new Raiders head coach. And this is actually my favorite hire. He got the team to believe. They bought in. He went 7-10 in 2015, but they were 4-12 the year before. Step in the right direction. They go 7-10. They go 12-4.
But that was
next
the Derek
year.
Carr injury, right?
So that was the Derek Carr
When he broke his
probably
leg.
was a legit MVP candidate
Yeah.
that year. And then he breaks his leg on Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas, Raider fans. Just a reminder that God hates you. So dude breaks his leg on Christmas Eve. He's done. Connor Cook takes over. Team just kind of limps into the postseason. They get shellacked by Houston. I remember watching that game live.
Yeah.
And it was really Houston.
Matt Schaub.
It wasn't even Matt Schaub. If I remember
I thought it was
correctly.
Matt Schaub, no?
No, it was Connor Cook, I think, versus TJ Yates or something. It was an awful quarterback match.
Oh, Jesus.
But Houston's defense was actually pretty decent. So Houston beats them 27-14. So Del Rio's team takes a minor step back next year. They finish 6-10. Now, this is where it gets weird. So after that 2016 12-14 season, they give Del Rio an extension, 4 years, which would have kept him there until I think 2019, 2020, something like that. He has a step back, one step back, and they fired him. And they made him announce his own firing in the press conference.
Wait.
Yeah.
It was kind of a microcosm of our year.
Look how sad he looks.
Opportunities.
Look how sad he looks.
Lack of production. Really.
I think he was crying.
Not good enough. Really kind of disappointing. That's what our year was. Disappointing. So spoke with Mark Davis after the game. And Mark let me know that he's not going to be bringing me back. And so he told me, loved me and appreciated all that I did to kind of get this program going in the right direction.
He is crying.
But that he felt
he is crying.
I told him how much I appreciated the opportunity he gave me.
Oh.
And I mean that. Very grateful.
Okay. We get it. That's sad. He had announced his own firing.
Yeah, announced his own firing. This dude just got you to the playoffs a year before. Of course, they're probably going to take a step back because Derek Carr probably has a gift because he doesn't want to break his leg again. Okay? So, took a step back. That's okay. You just build off of that. You get back to next year. Now, I want you to remember that. He just got into the playoffs and then he gets fired. Remember that. So, what we didn't know at the time is that an old friend was coming back. John Gruden's back, baby. Chucky, he's back.
And this is where the scandals start to break in.
Yeah. So number one, he got hired in the 2019 season, which I honestly, it doesn't even matter how that season went. They didn't make it back to the playoffs, so I can tell you that much right now. But then you get to 2020. It's the COVID year. And just John Gruden, I don't know what he's doing. This dude just refuses to wear a mask on the sideline. He got fined twice for it, I remember. What is that, dude? What is...
Looks like he has like a beak, like he's doing like a kid's show or something, like a fake beak. Or what is that?
He looks like he's a really shitty medieval doctor. Exactly what he looks like. It's so bad, dude. So bad. And look at that. They're getting their ass whooped.
Yeah.
Color me surprised. Jeez. So, okay. So it's the way he gets fired that draws everybody's attention.
Yes.
October 2021, Dan Snyder, the Washington football team at this point, rebranded from the Redskins. Washington football team, they're going through an NFL investigation for workplace misconduct. John's brother, Jay, was the head coach of the Redskins for a long time.
Jay Gruden.
John was also really cool with Bruce Allen, the GM that was over there. So what happened is the NFL finds all these emails that were sent from John Gruden prior to also him being hired by the Raiders. So just like he was working as an ESPN broadcaster and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they find all these emails and there's just a lot of nasty stuff. Like you got racial stuff, you got homophobic stuff, you got just derogatory stuff. There's some nudity in some of these emails as far as the Washington cheerleaders were concerned. It was a mess. So the New York Times puts out a story, turns into this whole thing. Gruden basically is forced to
resign.
He's forced to resign. Now he has since sued the NFL for that because I think his argument is that he wasn't even in the league. Why did these even matter? It was something like that.
What? Hold on.
Yeah.
Think about that. Okay.
Yeah, it was something like that. So
I did these terrible things when I wasn't in the league, yet he was in the league because he was an announcer on Monday Night Football during this time.
Yeah.
But just because he did these terrible emails or was involved in this email chain when he was in the league, it's okay because he wasn't in the league. What?
Yeah,
That is the worst excuse anybody could possibly make in the world. Like, what the hell?
I don't know, man. So that lawsuit is still ongoing, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's important to know.
So he's a horrible person in and out of the league. That's
Yeah. I mean, anyone that with the nickname Chucky from the Murderous Doll, you can tell me that dude's a good person. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So fast forward, the interim head coach is announced. It's Rich Bisaccia. And he is the only interim to get a mention on this because he took that team that was 3-2 when Gruden got fired. By the middle of the season, they were 6-7, probably going to miss the playoffs. And then it happened. They go on a 4-game winning streak.
Was that the all the Chargers and Raiders had to do was tie for both?
Yeah, it was that year. Yeah. They go on a 4-game win streak. They get into the playoffs. And I have to give them credit. I remember watching this game. They were in Cincinnati. They took Joe Burrow and that team toe-to-toe to the wire.
They did. That was a good game.
Yeah, they couldn't complete the 4th and goal. Cincinnati stops it. And, I mean, look, no shame in saying, hey, we lost to the team that went on to the Super Bowl. I mean, you can't really – I mean, it was a great game. They played really well. So you would think, like, hey, let's bring back Bisaccia, right?
No.
Nah.
Nope.
You kidding me? Mark Davis wants what he wants. So I got that stupid bull haircut.
That haircut is terrible.
Yeah, it's awful. So Josh McDaniel, okay, now I just spoiled it. Well, Josh McDaniels comes in because, Mark Davis looks at him and he's like, I want that guy because that guy won in New England. Jesus Christ. Okay, first off, you're bringing in McDaniels who has some baggage. So McDaniels was hired as the Denver head coach 2009. They are 8-4. He's turned Kyle Orton around. They are 8-4 in 2009. They need to win one game to have a shot of at least making the wild card.
Mm-hmm.
They finished 8-8. They lost the next 4. So there's a collapse right there. Okay. The following offseason, you have the NFL draft. It is 2010. McDaniels takes Tim Tebow in the frickin' first round. Yeah.
How can we forget?
2010. Oh, look at that. Didn't work out because McDaniels was there. Tim Tebow's there. The team is 3-9. Daniels fired. Okay. He's gone. 8 years later, he's among the top head coaching candidates again because he's winning again in New England, right? Jim Irsay.
As a coordinator.
Yeah, as a coordinator.
Under Belichick.
Yeah, under Belichick. Yeah, that's another key part.
Let's put that.
So Jim Irsay, the Colts owner, they interview him. They're like, we want him. We're going to bring him in. Keep in mind, McDaniels had already called other coaches to be coordinators and coaches on his staff. They had signed on with Indianapolis to be part of the Colts team. At the last second, McDaniels, I don't want to take it anymore. I'm going to stay in New England. Not only does he screw over the Colts organization, he screws over all these other teams who now that they're committed, or these other coaches who now that they're committed have to pick up and move their entire families over to Indianapolis because now they can't get out of their contracts.
Yep.
So he screws over a ton of people. How he wasn't blackballed by anyone other than New England at this point, I do not know. And yet you got Mark Davis over here. I want that guy.
Can we talk about this real quick before we do this? Can we talk about this this look?
What even is that?
I don't know. He looks like the alien from American Dad.
Nah, dude, you want honest opinion? That looks like Humpty Dumpty got his wish to be human. It's literally what he looks like, dude. It's not good. Looks so dumb.
It's so like he has to know he looks terrible, right? Like that is.
Hey, he has to know, but no one's telling him, man. Why you let your boy walk out with that haircut is beyond me. Couldn't be me. So, anyways, it's how it's again how the person gets let go / fired is the most interesting part of this story. So McDaniels starts the season. They go 6-10. Starts the next season in 2024. Okay. Now this is interesting to remember. Yeah, we're in 2023. They finished 6-10. Everyone was expecting the Raiders to fire McDaniels because he was terrible. It was just not good. Okay. What ends up happening is Mark Davis gives him a vote of confidence saying he's staying. Bill Plaschke, who famous sports columnist for the LA Times, came out with the story that said the real reason McDaniels isn't fired is because Mark Davis doesn't have enough money to give him a severance package.
Wow.
So that's why McDaniels is still there. They came out and defeated all that, but I mean, let's be real. With a guy like that haircut, that's cheap, right? So, like, yeah, he probably didn't have enough money.
This guy this guy goes to Supercuts.
Bro, I've been to sports clips and Supercuts. They don't make me look that bad. This dude's getting his cut in his like grandparents' house. I don't know. There's a whole lot happening right here. So anyway, fast forward to the 2004 season. McDaniels goes 3-5 and is fired. But it's the story that came out.
2023 season, sorry.
2024. Or no, 2023. You're correct. So 2023. It's the story that came out that makes it wild.
Okay.
So I'm just going to read this paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
Word had gotten out, McDaniels lost the locker room, and players were going above his head to express their frustrations. This all came to a head when the Raiders held a meeting, airing out the grievances that the players had with their coach. The players unleashed and let McDaniels have it with everyone from captains of the team to normal players, including second, third stringers, speaking out. Towards the end of the meeting, and from what I heard and from what I read, they laid into him and they basically they said for the next week that McDaniels was like lifeless behind his eyes. This dude was so distraught.
Wow.
Yeah. So fast forward, it says towards the end of the meeting, McDaniels had linebackers coach Antonio Pierce speak for him. During Pierce's speech, he used his old 2007 New York Giants team as an underdog story to help rally the team. And the guys, what do you know, buy into that. They're like, hey, like, he's right. We could do this. Okay. Then what happens?
Well, McDaniels was coach for the Patriots at that time, a coordinator for the Patriots during that.
Yeah. So McDaniels gets all in his feels because that New York Giants team beat McDaniels' Patriots team that he was the OC for. That was the undefeated season. So I still can't believe this actually happened. This dude went up to Pierce immediately after his speech and said, "Don't ever talk about the Patriots like that."
Oh my God.
Get your head out of your ass.
You're
dude.
Currently the head coach of the Raiders, buddy.
You're the head coach of the Raiders. You just got your ego destroyed by your entire team. But that 1 ounce of ego you have left, instead of building on it, you use it to tell the guy who just rallied your team, "Don't talk about my old team like that." Bro, I can't even with that. So Mark Davis hears about this. McDaniels are fired. Pierce, you're in. And Pierce nearly got this team to the playoffs. When McDaniels was fired, let's see, McDaniels I don't remember when it was, but he nearly got in the playoffs. They finished 8-9. They were actually pretty decent.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, last
and
year.
They had that big win over the Chiefs that helped rise Pierce, I think, to where he is today as still the head coach.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I think Mark Davis looked at the Rich Bisaccia mistake that he made by bringing in McDaniels in the first place.
Yeah, I think McDaniels is now out of the league completely, right? He's not even a coordinator. He's not even.
I have to look.
I think he's.
Which, if he is out of the league, good riddance, dude.
I think he is out of the league.
Yeah. Let's see. What is Josh McDaniels up to? Joshy, where are you? You can't hide from the internet. We always find out. Let's see. Josh McDaniels. And he is currently... Oh, nope. Yeah, the last thing he was doing was Las Vegas Raiders head coach. He's not in the league anymore.
He's out.
Yeah, it's... I'm looking at Wikipedia. It doesn't even have anything for college
No, he's done.
I don't think he's doing anything. Good riddance. He sucks.
Yeah.
Honestly, but here's the other thing too. Does he really have to do anything? Because he's sitting on his nice fat severance package from the Raiders.
That
So he doesn't
apparently Davis was able to afford eventually.
Yeah, but yeah, man, that's pretty much the ineptitude of the Raiders there.
Plus, we could talk about the Oakland move to Vegas and
yeah, that's
all that stuff too. But we won't get into that. That's kind of a sad story that is what it is. But
just basically the black hole. Look, this is the easiest way to say it. The black hole, the fan base in Las Vegas, it's not the same. It's a tourist attraction. That's what it is. And how do I know that? I'm going for Falcons Raiders in December. Okay, it's a tourist stop. That's all it is.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, if Vegas was going to get their own team, they should have never gotten. It should have been a brand new expansion. It shouldn't have been a team that's moving. Because why are the Golden Knights so popular? Why does the city love them? Because that's their team. You're just getting the remainder of Oakland and LA's team over here. So it's not the same thing.
Yeah, they're becoming similar too when they have home games where a lot of the crowd is flying in from other places. Like when they play.
I'm doing the same.
Yeah, like when they play Denver, for example, Broncos fans are really passionate. They could fly to Vegas for $79.
Yeah, what was it? I think they had Pittsburgh come in last year.
Oh yeah, it was Pittsburgh West. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's just why even bother, man.
So the black hole has died.
Yeah, rest in peace, man. It's not the same.
It's sad. Well, there you have it. Shout out, man. Shout out. Let me find. There you go. The ineptitude of the Los Angeles, Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders. In one episode, we managed to hour and a half, but the first 20 minutes was rant lines and whatnot. So about an hour. So we'll have some good stuff we could pull here and post everywhere. So with that being said, I mean, I you know how many Raiders fans it takes to change a light bulb?
Do tell.
0, because they don't change it. They just talk about how good the old one is.
Damn it, dude.
Do you know why the Raiders don't have an official website?
I don't know if I like where this is going.
Because they can't string 3 W's together.
Oh my god.
If you have a car containing a Raiders wide receiver, linebacker, and defensive back, who's driving the car? A police officer. All right.
Jesus.
This was the Raiders episode. Every T, I think we did good. A special. We should do these specials more often when you have a great article like you wrote there on MondayNightRants.com. Check out the article. We did cover pretty much the entire thing in entirety, but you could also read it for yourself. MondayNightRants.com, Heavy T's article, an Inept Franchise Series, the Las Vegas Raiders. You've done the Bears, which was a big hit. You've done some baseball ones and the Marlins, the Mariners, the Knicks, the Browns. So there's some really good stuff over there at MondayNightRants.com. Make sure you check it out and read them. What's the next one you're doing?
So I wasn't sure if I was going to say this or not, but I guess it's worth mentioning. I'm going to try to do an NHL one after the Stanley Cup final. I'm still debating on which team I'm going to do it on. I'm kind of torn between Buffalo and Toronto. But here's the other thing too, is that it might take a minute for that one to come out because I don't know hockey super well. So we're going to have to do a lot of research in this. But I will say this. I am currently working on another blog series.
What?
I think I'm going to go with okay, so I'm kind of torn because it's kind of taken, but I don't think it's technically like what's the word, copywritten or trademarked or whatever. So I'm gonna call it Missing Rings, and it's on what exactly you expect. This is a team that should have won it all, but they didn't for these reasons.
So you're taking the ineptitude, I guess, of since 2000, but you're going season wise. But instead, you're saying this team, like the Patriots that we talked about earlier, that went undefeated, should have won it all, but lost.
Yeah, they'll definitely be on that list.
Okay, and we're gonna talk about why that season crumbled and why they should have won it all. That's a great idea. I love that.
Yeah, I have a whole list of teams. Give me 1 second that I was looking at. So for the NFL, I'll just throw 5 out there. But the NFL, this is what I'm looking at. I think the 2 that immediately come to mind: the '98 Vikings. And the 2007 Patriots, those are the 2 very obvious ones.
One of those Bills teams
The 1990s one specifically, they are also on the list. That 2000s Raiders team, like that I mentioned with Rich Gannon getting flattened in the AFC Championship game,
Mm-hmm.
they're also on that list. This one's going to be a doozy because I hate them so much. The 2018 New Orleans Saints and the no call in the NFC. Oh, I'm going to love writing about that one because I hate that.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but we're going to dive into it for baseball. I already have a couple.
Oh yeah, that could be a good.
Yeah. So the 2001 Mariners, who have already touched on a little bit with the Inept Franchise blog. So they will be mentioned. The 03 Cubs will be a good one. The 86 Red Sox will be a good one.
The Dodgers, the last 4 years.
The 17 Dodgers are also on the list. However, I would like to point out, the 11 Rangers too, being one strike away twice from winning Game 6 and winning the World Series.
Damn it, freeze! Damn it, freeze!
There is one that I would really like to mention, and that is the year there was no World Series. Did you know that the Montreal Expos were a very good team that year? And when I say they were a very good team, they were, give me 1 second as the page loads because I forgot. They were 74-40 when the strike happened. Wow. They had, I have to double check, but I believe Pedro Martinez was the ace on that staff. I have to go back and look, but that team was playing really well. And then the strike happens. So we're talking in 1994, if the season goes on and the Expos maybe win it all, I don't know if they necessarily move 10 years later. I really don't.
You could be right.
We could still have baseball in Montreal for all we know. So that's going to be a fun one to explore. For hockey, we have the 10-11 Canucks on here, 95-96 Red Wings, last year's Bruins, the Sabres that got absolutely screwed in the Stanley Cup with the foot in the crease. The NBA one, there's some teams on here I'm really excited about. The 07 Suns with Steve Nash. That's going to be a fun one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
The 2000 Trailblazers that were up by like 15 with 7 minutes to go and blew that game. Albeit some interesting officiating right there. And speaking of interesting officiating, the one that I am looking forward to the most on the NBA side, because they are one of my favorite teams of all time, the 2002 Sacramento Kings is going to be a great story to tell. So yeah, man, I'm kind of looking forward to this.
I love it. I absolutely love it, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can catch it all on MondayNightRants.com, and as they come out, of course, we'll announce them and have a lot of fun going forward. And guess what, man? It's Thursday. That means we're just a few days away from the next Monday Night Rants episode.
Yeah, no, literally.
It's going to be a lot of fun next Monday night. Thomas Stevens will be back. Join us as well for Rant on the Street. I want to ask him about the Lakers and the whole Hurley situation too when he's on.
Yeah, it would help if they hired a coach between now and then.
Yeah, that'd be fun. And the Raiders episode. I'm out of Raiders jokes, and you're out of articles, so we gotta go. Thank you, Heavy T. You're amazing, man. Everything you do on MondayNightRants.com for the show and everywhere. Follow him at Heavy T on Air on Instagram and Twitter. He posts a lot of fun stuff, fun videos, fun, really, really funny posts too, as he goes in this endeavor of being an Angels fan throughout this.
A lot of anti-Joe Adele agenda on my list.
Screw the Angels!
Screw the Angels as I'm going to the game tomorrow, so we'll see what happens.
They swept my Padres.
Oh, that was actually... Oh, okay, actually, really quick. That reminds me.
Uh-oh.
So I got a custom Angels jersey made.
The Judas one.
At the beginning of the season, yes. So let me grab it for those who haven't seen it. Give me one second.
Okay. I feel like we need elevator music during this time. Oh, he's got it.
Okay, so we have this beauty.
Nice.
So Otani left. Bastard.
Yep. So now it's just Judas. 17.
Yeah. So there's that. So I've been wearing this jersey to every Angel game I go to. Honestly, it's more of a joke than anything. Like I've been made fun of by a couple people on Twitter. I don't care, dude. Like I take it all in stride. It's
hilarious. Own it. It's great.
So we go to Angels Padres on Tuesday night. We're sitting first row behind the bullpen in the outfield. Angels closer Carlos Estevez. This is like the 7th inning. He's warming up. And I just got in my head. I'm like, I'm going to ask him. So I took off the jersey. I said, hey, Estevez, And he looks at me. He's like, yes or no on the jersey. And I held it up. Now, I didn't realize my hand was covering the name. So he's like, what's the name? And I pulled it back because he saw the 17. And I pulled it back and he said Judas. And you just see him. He's like, damn. And then he starts laughing. Like, he loved it. He thought it was really funny. So I was like, and we like our whole little section started busting up laughing. They're like, all right, dude, all right.
Shout out to Esteves, who is currently my closer in both my baseball leagues right now because of the injuries to closers.
Yeah. Nice.
So not the greatest, but he's a great fill-in.
I will say this. He's not the greatest pitcher. I get mad at him sometimes, but he's a great dude. Everything I've heard about him, really nice guy. Like he's pretty chill.
Well, sweet. Hopefully tomorrow he gets me a save.
They are playing the Astros, so hey, it is Mike Trout bobblehead night, so we'll see.
Hey, does it come with a injured with a cast on, or what does it work?
It should come in bubble wrap if we're being honest.
I'm sure it does, but you probably shouldn't take it out of the bubble wrap. You should probably leave it in there.
Yeah, just keep it in there. Jeez.
All right. No more dad jokes. No more fun. From myself, from our Raiders fan, Philly, a.k.a. Filibuster, who joined us tonight. Thank you so much for that. Let's give him an air horn and a cheer. That was a lot of fun. Learning about his Raiderdom, if that's a word. And sorry your black hole is no more, but it's fun to hear that he got arrested at a Raiders game. That's so perfect. I loved it. All right. And to Thomas Stevens will be here next week. And as always, shout out to Heavy T here for everything he does. From myself, Heavy T, Thomas Stevens, and everyone at the Better Sports Network. Until 4 days from now, we'll catch you next time, my fellow ranters. And as always, shout out to our boy, Tosh McGowan.